Before you could go and lay in bed, I was just gonna slide down. And they enjoyed it. And I said, it's too much for me. I said, I'm not doing it. It's too much. And we put something to do so. I just thought like, it's just trying to be, trying to believe, trying to
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday or pre-Friday. Got to get excited, right? Almost the end of the week. How's everybody? People say wonderful. Whoa, I like that. I want to be wonderful too. How did you get there? I don't have anything on the slide. See what it says? This is going to be, thank you for finding something to put on there. Thank you, Maura. I wasn't thinking I was going to be able to be here. I was supposed to be at the office, but my new commissioner gave me permission to be here with you instead of with her. So I am here, but I don't have a slide, but that doesn't matter with me. And I think you all know that, right? I have plenty enough to talk about. So a couple of things I do want to remind people, those of you, there are 5 agencies that have been notified that they're the first 5 early childhood block grant funded agencies to be reviewed. Anyone in here of the first 5? Happy you. Welcome. Give them a hand. Now, the follow-up to that is you've received your email with all the documentation that they want. You haven't received yours yet? You received yours? It's a lot. Okay? Just so all of you know, it is a lot of what they're asking. Okay? I gave you a heads up before that they are looking deep. They want to know, and they're looking at your fiscal side. And not only are they looking at your fiscal side, they're digging into your fiscal side. They're looking at invoices. They want to see how you charge. They want to see your inventory. They want to see your payroll. They want to see your general ledger. How are you documenting how you expend all of your dollars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They want to see your teacher credentials. Teacher credentials. Teacher credentials. And we know we have issues with teacher credentials, right? What's your plan? You have to have a plan because at the end of the day, if your classrooms are operational and you don't have qualified teachers, you have got to be able to talk about what you are doing to find, which is recruit, hire, and retain qualified teachers. It will not just be okay to show a document and throw your hands up in the air like you just don't care. That's what happens when they put something like that up there on the board. You have got to have a plan and you got to have a response for that. Last time I was here, I talked about CDAs not being a qualified credential. Does everybody remember me saying that? When I got your budgets, that's what people have on their budget are CDAs. On the federal side, CDAs are acceptable. On the state side, they are not. And so if you say I had a teacher assistant who has a CDA, what I've been saying to people when I've seen it is, what credit hours does that individual have? Because the IGA clearly articulates and spells out that that person in the PFA classroom who's your second needs to have 60 credit hours at minimum, 15 of which are early childhood education credits. Nowhere in there does it say CDA. How many of you understand what a level 1 is in the INCRA system? I'm sorry? It's just training, right? So the level 1 was created, and I had the opportunity of working with INCRA many years ago to create the level 1. What it was an enrolled for individuals, for example, high school students on high school campuses were offered opportunities to get a level 1 while they were finishing their high school diploma. Does that make them qualified in your classrooms? No. And so I'm looking at level 1s, I'm looking at CDAs, I'm looking at staff that are not qualified to be in your programs. And if I'm looking at that and I'm seeing that and I'm saying that to you, understand CPS is going to say the exact same thing. Now, the difference between them and me, it could be an overcharge for you because you're paying salaries to people who are not qualified. Does everybody hear what I'm saying to you? Right? They're going to give us deficiencies. I expect a deficiency because of this. I do. Because of the multiple times that I've seen it, and I've been in, Angel probably wishes her office was on a different floor, a different building, but it's just down the hall from me. And so I'll open up a budget, and instead of me calling her, I walk to her office. What's his budget? And she's like, and I knew you were coming. Yes. And we need to meet with the agencies because you are in non-compliance. What are the credentials that's required for a PFA teacher? Anybody? A PEL, professional educator license. That's where we are. We're supposed to have a professional educator license, right? Right now, you can go through with a plan with a bachelor's degree level 5, ECE level 5, but not just a bachelor's degree. And so I'm seeing that I've got a bachelor's degree teacher. Isn't that good enough? No, because they don't have a level 5. How many of you are having your staff do PDRs, turn those PDRs into you so you can see what it is they need to get these credentials so that you have a plan of action to make sure your staff are qualified? If you are not having them bring you PDRs started tomorrow or today when you get out of here, you need documentation to show that you know where they are in their educational plan. That PDR, they should have sent in their transcripts. Their transcripts should have been reviewed. We talked about PDRs 4, 5, 6, however many years ago. It's just a fog to me right now because of that brain. It's tired. But we talked about PDRs a long time ago. Equip yourself with those so you can see exactly where your staff are or are not. And then you can do a professional development plan with that staff person, not you in your office by yourself, but with that staff person. And they should be enrolled in a program going towards whatever it is that they need. Then you can talk about it. But if you had an unqualified teacher, no professional development plan, and no plan at all, it's a non-compliance first. If it's across the board of issue, it's a deficiency. Okay? And I know what you're doing, and I know what you're trying to do, and I know how hard it is. But if you don't have a plan of action, if you can't show your work behind what's happening in your classrooms, they can, CPS say, these were teachers that were not qualified, therefore should never have been charged to the budget. Okay? Anybody have questions about that? Anybody have any concerns about being able to get what I'm asking for? Yes, in the back, one of my own staff. See, Anya? Go ahead. There is a delay, but if you have someone who has at least put it in, they have an email showing that they did what? And they at least tried. They can pull their PDR right now. They don't have to have it evaluated yet. They should all have a number in INCOR. They should be able to go in and pull a PDR, and you have that in their employment file. So you at least know where they are. And I agree, yes, they are behind in INCOR because of the number of people that are submitting for review. But you at least have them showing and documenting that it's in review. Something is definitely going to be better than nothing. Everybody hear me? Another one of my staff. Go ahead. What about teacher aides? I'm getting there. They can't have any. I'm just teasing. Any other questions about your lead teacher in your PFA classroom? Again, a professional educator license, a bachelor's degree, ECE level 5, and enrolled in school with a professional development plan that you can show and document that your staff are doing what they need to do. But you need to have that PDR to show your due diligence, okay? Any questions about that? Not an AA, not a BA in astronomy, just say, okay? Gotta be something related to the field, okay? And if anybody needs any help with that, this is the time for you guys to be reaching out so that we can help you. Because once they are evaluating you, they're looking for you to be in compliance. So AA teachers, excuse me, assistant teachers in the classroom. An assistant teacher in a classroom, 60 credit hours, of which 15 must be early childhood. 60 credit hours, of which 15 needs to be in early childhood. Not a CDA, not a level 1, not a level 2. Does everybody understand? You're not going to get to 60 credit hours till you get to a level 4, people. Okay? So if you are representing anything beneath that, it is a non-compliance. I'm asking people to go and look at transcripts from staff and tell me how many credit hours the people have, because I'm seeing people put CDA. Well, I think they got credits. I'm glad you're thinking about that. I need to know how many. I'm trying to help as much as I can before you get monitored by trying to help you make that case and that story that you're going to need to tell these folks. Because again, it can become a financial issue for you in that they could say that you've overcharged. Okay? So please work with us as we're trying to work with you. Yes. In home visiting, in the IGA, it says a bachelor's degree, right? And that's what they're going to be looking for, is a bachelor's degree for your home visitors. Anya, what's the degree in? And I don't have the IGA with me because I came straight from home today. Didn't think I'd be here. I believe it's in, I can't look, I will send it out. Let me just send it back out because I want you to see what they're looking at, okay? But it is a bachelor's degree for your home visitors. And your home visitors are supposed to have a supervisor, and your supervisor is supposed to have a what? Level 5 is your family support staff, but they're asking for, and they've been asking previously, that you try to get your supervisors of those who have bachelor's degrees up to a master's degree, okay? So they're going to be looking in your house, looking in your records, and trying to determine compliance. Compliance with what's spelled out in the IGA and was compliant with Illinois State Board of Education requirements. Early on in this conversation, I gave you guys checklists. In the checklist, it talked about what the requirements were. Go back through it, and make sure that your records are compliant. And where you're not, why? Right? I will tell you, I've met with the feds before, and I knew we were not compliant. But I had a story and an explanation for it. It's when you don't have an explanation, it becomes an issue. We understand, and I've said consistently to CPS, that we have staff shortages in our program. So it's not like it's not common knowledge. It is common knowledge that you have staff shortages, But you have to be able to document what your efforts are. How are you recruiting? What are you doing? What's your recruitment plan? What's your hiring plan? What is HR doing? Who's helping you? What are you doing to try to find qualified teachers? You got to be able to have that as well. If you don't have the right staff, you got to show how you're still trying to get the right staff in your class. Any questions? So I remind you, we are not controlling the monitoring. We're doing everything that we can to support it, but it is a lot. It's a heavy lift between your fiscal staff and your program staff. It is a heavy lift. And anywhere where there are gaps in documentation, they're going to be asking the why, the where, the why not, right? And so we're trying to help. I know Angel has met with several agencies. I'm going to be meeting with some others, trying to help you get yourself in order so when you're going through the monitoring, that you will be able to go through it and be okay on the other side. But what's the big thing? Who else needs to be okay on the other side? Everybody. This is about your grant, your PFA and your PI grant that you have in your house. They're looking directly at all of you and how you manage the fund on your side of the house to see whether or not there are gaps. Are there going to be some gaps? Yes. I know there are going to be some gaps. But it can't just be such that we just didn't care and we didn't have any documentation or anything to show for our efforts in trying to be compliant. And that's what I'm asking you today, is go back and think about where you know you may have gaps, document the why, and document your efforts in trying to be compliant. Okay? Any questions? So what we understand from the monitoring is when they're in your house, they may be there with you for 5 days. Or how long it takes for them to go through all of your records that they're asking for. So they may start with and say, we'll try 2 days, but if 2 days doesn't work, they will want to remain. They will need a space at your site, if you're identified as one of the sites that they're going to review, where they will want to come and sit in your house and go through your records. They will want to know the classrooms are operational. When you say I've got teachers, guess what? If I say Lisa is my PFA teacher, and I go into the classroom and Brandy's in there, what's the problem? One of the old things the CPS used to do years ago when they had the fund is they would send out the monitor, and the monitor would come through the building, say very little to the staff. I know this, they would do it at my sites all the time. They walk through with a piece of paper, they go to a classroom and say, sign your name for this classroom, sign your name for this classroom, and sign your name for this classroom. And they walk out the door and go back to CPS, go into their documents to see what did we say or who we said the teachers were in those classrooms, and then we get a letter. So when they're in your buildings, if you said Lisa is the teacher in your classroom, they're looking for who? Lisa. You're not looking for Monica. You're not looking for Barbara, right? And so you say you have staff. You put staff on your budgets, right? Now, if you have a staff that's left and it's vacant, that's different. But if you claimed Lisa, they're looking for Lisa. Okay? And so make sure that if there's a vacation or a reason that that person's not there, that you can document that. But don't for a moment think that part of the verification will not be them going through your classrooms to see the people that you say are in your classrooms. And they will document who was there. Okay? We're doing everything on our side to keep up with what they're asking and what they're doing. That's all we can do to help. And I'm bringing it to you as I'm hearing it from them and doing everything that we can to try to steer and direct. One of the things that I'm asking, and it didn't come back with what I requested. I did say, can you give us a number of children, a sampling of children files that you want to see? What was in my last email, just so you hear me, it said all. It did not say a sample. They want all. So all your files, 100% of your files need to be ready to be reviewed. 100% staff and 100% children and families. Any questions about that? Yes. Okay. Angel wants to answer behind you. Yes, ma'am. She's already put some of that information in your files, in your folders. She's got folders that she's going to be handing out, and in the folders is a checklist. Okay? So that's another help agent. We're giving you at least a checklist to help you out. Yes, ma'am. 5 that they started with. There are 5 agencies that CPS reached out to and said, these are our first 5. And then they're going to do a second 5 and a next 5. And I will tell you, based on what they see in those first 15, will determine how many more 5s they will do. Directly from CPS to the agency. They have your contact information. And so they're sending it directly to the agency, not through us. These are emails coming directly from CPS. Okay. And CPS is actually the one setting up your schedule for your on-site as well. See, DFSS is not. CPS staff are doing that as well. And so mind your emails, respond to your emails. If you get something, one person's name is Toy, and the other person's name starts with a, I lost it. See, that's what that gray hair will do for you. It went away. Something like Jahan. But anyway, look for emails from cps.edu. Look for emails from cps.edu. They're the ones sending out. They're requesting the documentation. They're telling you exactly what they want to see. The time frame, I will tell you, is for the previous fiscal year, July 1, 2024 to June 30th of 2025. That's the time period that they're looking at. Okay. Can't hone it in. I'd like to, but so far we've not been able to hone that in either. So they're looking at the full year. Yes.
Reminder that if you are receiving communications from CPS, can you look to see who's on the communication? It's possible that you are receiving a communication that we are not aware of. So if we are not aware, if you could just kindly let us know. We're trying to make sure that the communications are consistent. We're trying to ensure that we are of support to you throughout this process. So that's number one. And if you are one of the 5 that were selected to go first, I did email the PSA PI compliance checklist that our internal team has been using during our 5 reviews that we've been conducting at DFSS, which should align with what Angel has in the envelopes as well. So don't be surprised if the team is like, oh, we have this. Well, yes, because we emailed it to you. We've been using it for the 5 reviews. This is not a foreign document, but I wanted to lift that to this room.
And the other 2 checklists, there's a PFA checklist and a PI checklist that I sent out before, and we can send those back out again so that everybody has them as well. And those that are the checklists that are directly from ISB. Yes. That was my next issue. Okay, I'm gonna start it for you. Okay. So how many people know about the CPS background check? All y'all should raise your hands if you got ECBG, right? You were required several years ago to send all your staff through CPS for an additional background check that's above and beyond if you have federal from us. That is above and beyond what you do in licensing. This is CPS requiring your staff to go through a background check process to document that they have actually gotten a clearance. I said the word clearance. The background check doesn't go to you, the agency. The background check from CPS goes directly to the individual who is background checked. It does not go to you, and they don't come to us. The only thing we receive, if anything, is if a staff member went through the process and for any reason did not complete the process, meaning they were asking for additional documentation and that person hadn't sent it in, we might get an email that says that that person is not complete and it's flagged, okay? Or we will get that the person didn't make it through the background check. I want to remind you what the words are if that person doesn't complete the process, meaning CPS asks for additional information that staff member did not provide it, as a result of it, CPS closed the file. That person, when it says closed, should not be working in what is considered what they say a CPS school, but for you, it's in your centers. They should not be working for you. If they did not pass the CPS background check, what it says is they cannot work in a CPS school. And for you, that's your CPS, PFA funded classrooms, PI funded classrooms. How you are looking at that, and I know, because my staff have been going through and following up on background checks, and they're being told by some folks that, the staff have come in with a clearance, and what we're finding is that clearance is really the DFSS background check clearance. That is not CPS. The reason that they're coming to you is because we had a flag in an email that said they didn't clear. And so unless that person can produce something different, that person was not supposed to be still there in your classroom in 2025. This was in 2022 when we started this. So I like tenured staff, I love them. But if they had a flag and they failed, you had an onus of responsibility to make sure that that person was not in your classroom in contact with CPS children. And these are all CPS children because they're on that fund. Okay? What I am hearing is people are saying, well, that person works somewhere else in the building. If I were CPS, I'd sit there and watch that person all day. And if they cross the path of a child, I'd go back to DFSS and say, we have a problem at that site. Why? Because what they've already said in the CPS process is that person should not be around children. How many of you have spaces in other places outside of child serving spaces where an individual can be for their 8-hour day? Everybody, all my staff, y'all see how many hands are going up? I saw one kind of went up, kind of halfway went up. I think I can kind of put her in the car for 7 hours. In your environments, and this is exactly what I said to CPS when we were going through this. In a school, maybe. You can put them in an administrative office, right? In the back of an administrative office and tell them you go in the back door, you don't even go in the front door. You can't even eat in the staff lounge. You don't go over on this side of the building. You come in this door, you go out that door, we can keep you hired. You okay? You want to keep your job, you stay in that little space, right? It's about a 2x2 room. But if you're getting $70,000 to sit in that 2x2 room, you say, okay, right? But in your buildings, where are they going to go where they're never going to come in contact with children? And I also want to ask you this follow-up. If a staff member is out and you need an extra hand, who are you going to call? Probably that person. That's the problem. If they have not passed the CPS background check, they should not be working in your sites. That's where you are going to get a billing error. You've been paying a person who CPS said should not be working there. And if you paid for them for 2-3 years, mom and dad gonna want the money. I didn't say it, she did. But it can be a fiscal audit finding, okay? They were not supposed to be there. They were supposed to be, and I know, I hate the fact that we were even doing this. B and I fought tooth and nail to not do this. We went to law and had law sit on calls with us, doing everything we could to not do this, and we lost the fight. And the moment we lost the fight, we let you know that this was coming. But we also told you what the ramifications were. They can't be on the budget. They can't be in your classrooms. Please go back and see how many staff you've carried over and how much money associated with that, and start planning now. Because I can't control that at this point. I really can't. Yes. What's the word on it? Is it just clearance? What is what's the word? It should say cleared. It should say that they cleared. If they cleared on the CPS background check, means that they came through, there were no issues, they're clear to work, they're clear, and you're good. She said if it says clearance, see?
Normally at the top,
Right.
it'll have a reference to a TCN number, which is that unique identifier for that person. And at the bottom, it'll say what the status is. So the status that we're looking for is clear. There may be a status that says pending. There may be a status that says additional info is needed. There may be a status that says flag. There may be a status that says closed. We don't want those. We want clear. If any of the others are there, unfailed, of course, might also show up. But if any of the others show up, that just means that they need that additional information and that individual needs to contact, the background check unit ASAP to be in compliance.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I thought we were only notified it there.
Yes.
You are,
Not notified at all.
okay, so look, one second. The only time that you would be notified would be through the email that B has set up, and it would come to you letting you know that the person was not cleared. There's a flag, those statuses are there. Because the background check doesn't come to us, we don't get them. You're absolutely correct. The comment was, I thought we would only get it if there was something, and you're absolutely correct. That's the only reason you would. But a lot of those emails did go out, and I will say over 100 went out. Okay? So it wasn't a small number of individual names that came up that there were issues with their background checks. And that's why I'm raising it with you today. And so go back. If you have an email through our email box or directly from B saying this individual with those words, letting you know that they did not clear the system, you know if that person is still working for you, that's going to be a flag when they're monitoring you. Then you can make the assumption everything's okay. Know that this, and I just have to say this, and this is human behavior. The background check comes to my house, right? I go get background checked, and it comes to my house. I read that background check, and that background check says failed. I go to work, and you never bring it up. Right? Do you think people are going to run in and say, I failed somebody's background check, what did I do? Not going to happen. I know from some agencies and conversations that I've had, they said, person never told me. I said, I wouldn't expect them to. Okay. So B, she wants to show you what she has on her phone for a staff member. So again, what I want you to do is look back at anything that you received from that email box that was about background checks or anything from B. Nichols about background checks, because the only reason that she would have been reaching out is that there was an issue with their background check. We don't know about the others. The only notifications we got was when there were issues. Everything else went to that person. It was cleared. It was fine. There were no issues. They didn't come back and go, oh, hooray, 700 were fine. They didn't do that. But we did get information when there were issues with their background checks. And those communications went out to agencies so that you would then know to talk with your staff, and in some cases, relieve your staff, because we did have some staff that were relieved of their duties. Yes, ma'am. The CPS background check, just like the federal, is every 5 years. So you're coming up on an opportunity to have to do this all again. It's every 5 years. Or based on the new board and some of the issues that I'm just adding this little caveat. I know I said 5 years, but based on the new board and their concerns about background check, they have the ability to institute it more often than 5 years. And I would almost expect them to do so. Okay, based on the number of issues that they've had with background checks in CPS schools. But as soon as we know more, if it changes, we'll definitely let you know. Any other questions about background checks? One second. And when I first, and then I'll come back. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. They could have appealed, and in the letter or documentation that the individual would have received, there would have been notification to them on how to appeal it. It would have been information, for example, if they needed to send in additional documentation, it went to the individual giving them instructions on what they needed to do next. Okay? So they didn't just blanketly say, unless it was an absolute fail, they said, you need to you turn in more documentation. May have been multiple address changes in a span of a time, whatever it is, they needed more documentation. That was the responsibility of that individual. There was an appeal process. We sent out the appeal process before with the information on where to go. But in the letter that they received, meaning the individuals going through this process, it also tells them that they have the ability to appeal. Now, 2 years hence, I don't know if they can still appeal. I can't speak to that. That's CPS's structure. Okay? Yes, B.
I'm by a judge. Get a copy of that.
Okay, what B is saying is if any of the staff have an expungement letter signed by a judge, get a copy for your records. An expungement signed by a judge, get a copy for your records. No, don't, B doesn't want it. I'm speaking for B. No, B don't want all that in her email. Just leave it on the files. Any other questions about background checks? Yes. Cleared, cleared.
Long pending time of waiting, but not until we have something clear.
Absolutely. Everybody hear that? Her question was, as she wanted clarification, are we saying that up until you have something that says cleared on the CPS background check, they should not be working or billed? My answer is correct. They should not be, because you did not have the authority to have that individual be there around children. Yes. Okay, so let me say this again. If you didn't receive anything, they were cleared. No, what she's saying is until we know, because all you're going to get is through that email box from B, if there was a flag, we tell you about the flag. That's all CPS ever gives us. So rest on, if you didn't get anything, your staff went through and everything was okay. If you got something from the email box, if B followed up with an email saying, what about Susie X? We're doing that because it was flagged. And so up until you get something like that, you're good, right? It's after that happens, there's got to be follow-up and documentation, and you got to do what is required regarding that staff member. Your hand and then yours. Yes, ma'am.
And staff are going hard. You're working on that. If there is the moment, ever get an email saying this, so get your staff to give you whatever secret.
Has given them. Yeah. So what B is saying, yes, they were background checked in 2022, which is about 3 years ago. They received something, those individuals. In order for you to have the file, you should be asking for those CPS background checks. The only place you're going to get them from is from the individual. We don't have access to them, and CPS will not distribute them to us as well. They should not. These are confidential documents. But you have every right, they work for you, to ask them to give you a copy of their background check. And on it, it should give you that clearance, and then you're good. right? That's one way to know that you have a complete file with the background check. Okay? Is it a way to go back through the system? I think the staff can go back and ask CPS for it. There's no way we can, yeah, but I'm saying I think staff can go back to CPS and see if they can get a copy of their background check. Yes, yes, ma'am. One second, everyone. I'm sorry. You wouldn't get it from CPS. What I'm saying is CPS background checks go to the individual. If Craig was background checked, I would never get it. And you never received anything to you for your own background check. Okay, so
We could have the receipts in our staff plan, but we may get the pending letter 4 months down the line. So is there a clearance period or?
it's within their time frame. That's within CPS's time frame. How long it takes for them to get through it. And at the point that they were doing all of you, it was a mass background check being done for all of those who were vendors, including DFSS. So I know it was some backlogs. Yes. It took 3 years to get a background check for me because I lived in Chicago, worked in Chicago. I moved to Washington State, lived in Washington State for 10 years, worked in Washington State. Now, how dare I came back to the city of Chicago and tried to work in an early learning program. It took 3 years to get a clearance because they were tracking me. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. They were like, yeah, okay, we're gonna figure it out. That's what the FBI basically said when I asked the question. Yes. Yes. Mhm. Yes, they do. Yes. I'm looking at B. Shaking your head one way or the B. Yeah. I don't see why not. Right. I don't see why not. They've done their due diligence in that they went. If they got something and said, we need more information based on what you're describing, they're following through and doing what they're asking. While you're going through that process of them waiting on CPS to say, flagged or cleared, that person should still be able to work. Right now, her question is, do they need to be done annually? Right now, when we started this process, it was 5 years. So right now, it's every 5 years. Any other questions? Her question is site directors once a year. I didn't get anything from CPS that changed it by job title or class. It was their background check need to be done every 5 years. And this is again specific to CPS's background check. Any other questions on the background check? I know I'm just tired of all this good news on a Thursday. Feel friendly though. Yes, ma'am. It should, let me say this. If you charge people to the grant in your program and they come in contact with children, they needed to go through that background check system. That's your food service staff. That's your maintenance staff. That's your director. Those individuals need to be background checked. Any other questions? All right, I'm turning the mic over to B. Thanks, everyone. Happy news while she's walking up. Just saying. I know, y'all probably wish I didn't come to the meeting, right? Yes, ma'am. Oh, okay. B's coming up to the front. SB. Uh-huh. She's saying she's having a problem with the COI.
Okay, thank you, Sarita. She would bring me up right after that. You told me you wanted to come. Good morning, everyone, and we're here to support, as Sheree said, the teams are here to support, so let us know, no question is too small. All right, I just wanted to go over a couple of things, since this is our learning agenda, where we get to speak with one another, find out what you're doing in your programs. Go back. Okay, thank you. So we're going to talk a little bit about the HMSAC. Got that right. Health, Mental Health Services Advisory Committee. Okay. We're also going to talk about family and community engagement. And then we have a guest speaker who is here with us, Brianna, and you're going to meet her. She's going to tell us all the good things that UIC Nutrition Extension is doing. All right, next. All right, purpose of the HMSAC. It's a Head Start requirement. Every program, if you are receiving federal funds for Head Start, early Head Start, then you need to have an HMSAC. You need to establish one. You should have one, and we layer on top of that, because we don't get out of the responsibility either. We have to have one at our level. So I am mandating attendance for Head Start agencies, and we'll talk a little bit more about the structure and how you're able to do that. Do we have any family service managers that are joining us today? Raise your hands. They didn't read it, Sheree. That's a target audience, family service workers. But you will go back and share this information with your teams. But agency managers are the ones, and yourselves, that participate in the HMSACs. It is open to professionals, to parents, community members at large. We follow the Open Meetings Act. Okay, so we're not excluding anyone from coming. Encourage your parents to come. This is also a requirement under ISB. You have to engage your parents. You have to set up a parent advisory council. How many of you have those? PFA, PI. All right. This may be an opportunity and a way to document that you are providing that parent advisory council. Maybe you come to the HMSAC and then you go back and get a smaller committee. I don't know, however you set it up, but this is a way that you can meet that obligation. Next, the structure. So we meet in October, will be the first meeting. And then we meet in June for the culminating meeting. Those are the 2 full committee meetings of the HMC. In between, in January and April, we are meeting in subcommittee content areas. Those 3 subcommittees are up there: health, mental health, dental, and nutrition. Education and disabilities as a subcommittee, as well as family and community engagement. I am currently working back again with MOPD, the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, to try to secure space. If you have a space large enough to accommodate 100 people and there's parking, please see me. I'm looking free. Don't charge. We do want something that's centrally located, but if you have a space and it's far south or far north, maybe we can alternate, but see me. All right, watch for the announcements. And there's going to be registration links set up for you to register for these meetings. And I'm looking at Mara and Martise and the team. They really help to man that. All right, now, any questions about the HMSAC? I know I'm moving right along. Okay. Family and community engagement. So I'm going to engage you for a minute. And I want us to do some activities with this piece. So maybe you're at tables with other people, or you want to look to the left or to the right and speak with your partner. But I want us to discuss these 3 questions. When you think about your annual parent orientation, what are the benefits of a parent orientation? What is covered in your parent orientation? And then are you utilizing any unique strategies during that time? Go ahead, I'm gonna let you talk about 5 minutes and I'll bring us back together. This is for all cell programs, not just federal, all cell programs. Lots of good discussion. You all don't want me to try to sing. If you can hear me, raise your hand. That works. All right. Let's go to the next slide, Mara. Where did Mara go? Okay. Lots of good discussion. And we're going to share a little bit of it, but we have quite a bit more to cover. Thank you, Mara. All right, so I just jotted down a few things, and let's see if you discuss these. It's a time to welcome, especially new parents, right? They're coming with you for the first time. RB is relationship building. That's important. You got them right there. If you go a couple of months in, you can lose them. This is the time that you see them and you meet with them. It is also a time for them to meet you and your team. And it's a time for them to meet with other parents that are in the program. What's covered in an annual orientation? Policies and procedures. We'll get into that a little bit more. This is also a time to talk about your agency and your agency's mission. Unique strategies. I'm going to come back to you. But one of the things that I used to use was I would get the returning parents to talk to the new parents at the parent orientation. Who knows the program best? They can even mentor other parents who are coming in. They may go to them rather than come to you with some of the personal things that they want to talk about. So utilize your returning parents. And then next slide. This is something that I had never been engaged in before. But they invited me and my husband with my youngest grandchild of 5. He's 5 years old, to come to a grandparents' day. Grandparents' Day. Never did that before. I told Sheree, what is a grandparents' day? Okay, next. But it was wonderful. And why is that a good strategy? They come when you call mama and mama don't come. Who comes? Grandma. So it's a wonderful, and it made us feel so good and so included, and he was happy. All right, next slide. That's all about parent annual orientations. Any other strategies that came up as you spoke that maybe you want to share that we haven't thought about? Yes.
As home visitors, we conduct groups. And so in our groups, we kind of bring the parents together and the children to kind of like, introduce each other, bring ideas to each other. We have a specific topic that we discuss. We have activities for the families to do together with the children and with other parents. And so it's just a way for them to kind of see what we do along with what each family member or what other parents do, and, just get acclimated with the program.
Thank you. Groups of parents. Anything else? All right, moving along. You all don't know anybody like Tommy and his mother. You don't know anybody like this. It's been a month into the new program year. Every morning, Tommy is dropped off late and arrives hungry. Each time mom is confronted, she's loud, she gets angry. Stay-out parents in classrooms have learned to just avoid mom. You don't know anybody like this. Go ahead. Talk about what can be your resources to deal with this mom. 5 minutes. Talk about it. All right. If you can hear my voice, Raise your hand. I knew you all were going to get into this. All right, so what's your greatest resource? Next slide. Parent handbook. Why? Did any of you talk about the parent handbook? Was that brought up? Should have been. You know why? Because this is where all of those policies and procedures rest. What else do you put in your parent handbook? Your program hours. During these hours of operation, this is how early your baby can get here, Tommy's mother, to eat breakfast. Because we notice that he's always hungry. Confidentiality. In this particular case, do you have anything in your policies around grievance procedures or conflict resolution? I got 2 amens over here. You gotta have it, it's crucial. You cannot just say to me, Ms. Nichols, I want you out of this program. Ooh, no. And especially if I have a baby with a disability, but even without that. No funders want to see that we're doing our due diligence to help parents. This may be a teen mom. I didn't put an age on it. Maybe this is her first experience. So we have to do all that we can do. But what that parent handbook does is it lays it out. You talked about it in the orientation, but that went through one ear, out the other. People are busy, right? They're not taking notes. They're busy eating what you put out. So put it in writing. You can always defer back to it. Have you had to do this? If you don't have a parent handbook, you need to put one in there. You also cover child abuse and neglect in your parent handbook. Who we release your baby to. You cover attendance. You cover a lot. Confidentiality in your parent handbook. And what is a requirement for both grants is working with the family to goal set. Now, in Head Start, it's called FPA, Family Partnership Agreement. But every program needs to goal set with their families. She may have an attitude because maybe they're sick. Your policies and procedures are going to talk about short-term exclusion. They're going to talk about medical. I've got you getting cooperative agreements right now with your local community providers. That's why we do this. All right. You're also going to put in there your meeting schedule. Mom, Tommy's mom, we meet once a week or every 2 weeks or however often you meet. And sometimes we have our mental health provider with us. Would you be open to that? You need consents for everything that you do. This is a time to lay it out in that parent handbook. And then what you have to do last but not least, and I think is very, very important, you have to get a signature, an acknowledgement that I received this. Why? What would Tommy's mother do if you didn't get that? You deny everything. She might just abruptly leave the program. Also, parents are smart. They'll get their legal, put that in writing for me. One of the things Office of Head Start saw, and I don't think it was just for this reason, it was for a myriad of reasons. They told Head Start programs, put a lawyer on your board. Yes, you have to protect yourself. So go back, look at your parent handbook, dust them off, change the date to reflect the new year. I was guilty of that too once. Update them, put anything in there that you think you need to put in. All right, anything else that came up during your conversations that you want to talk about? Okay, we are going to move on. And I'm bringing up Ms. Brianna Hall with the UIC Extension Project that's going to talk to us about all the wonderful things that she is doing with nutrition services. Many of you may already have linkage agreements with UIC, but this is another resource that we're bringing to you. Okay. I think she got goodies.
I like to talk with my hands. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay, good morning. My name is Brianna Hall. I am the program administrator for the University of Illinois Extension FNEP program. Have anyone ever heard of us? No? Yes? Yes? What did you hear about us? Great thing. Okay, I'll take that as the answer. Thank you. So we do nutrition and wellness workshops for adults, teens, and youth. Okay, so on today's agenda is who are we, why it matters, the curriculum that we offer, our goals, and what you get. So who are we? We are FNEP. So we are the Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program. So we are part of INEP, which is the Illinois Nutrition Education Program. So we are the extension part of University of Illinois. So everyone, anytime they see the I, like, oh, you work for the school? Yes, and FNEP aims to empower limited resource families with knowledge and skills for healthier and active lifestyles. Sometimes people are reluctant to learn about nutrition. Why? It's expensive. That's the first thing. Oh, I'm time before. You can make time. Not that hard. You can't hear you. I hear you yell about it. Can you guys hear me now? So we utilizes evidence-based, hands-on programs for nutrition education, and we have peer educators from the local community. So what does that mean? Is we have someone that is familiar with that community so they can relate. It's not just someone there just to do the job and get out of it. So why it matters? Access to healthier foods reduce the risk of obesity and chronic diseases. Improving overall health and contributing to healthier lifestyle and improve overall health. Yes. So the community health worker peer educator model, again, like I said, that is someone that is in that community. I have done classes here. I'm used to this community, so I was able to relate. I was able to give resources that our participants didn't know about. So we also bring knowledge of the community, language, culture, as well as strengths and challenges of families and individuals. So it's a teaching and learning through storytelling. We're not just sitting up there feeling like a teacher and you're just sitting in the class. We actually give our experiences as well. So the curriculums that we offer for the adults, we have Family, Eat Smart, Moving More, and Around the Table. So food resource management. How many in here like the budget? So we teach and we give those skills as well. So we give budget-friendly tips for smart and balanced shopping. You heard the saying, never go to the grocery store on an empty stomach. Why? You got donuts, you got cookies, you got ice cream, and you like, nothing on this list that I need. We improve the quality of your purchases while making the most of your budget. Strategies for making choices that support both well-being and financial goals. Nutrition security. So we learn to plan simple, balanced meals to support overall health. You don't have to always, eat out. Okay? You can use what you have at home. A lot of us, we use chicken. You can do a chicken salad. You can do baked chicken with different vegetables. Okay? Build skills for smart and budget-friendly shopping to make the most of your resources. A lot of us, we are on that budget. You have coupons, you have sales going on. So always look into your local grocery store. They have sales. Gain confidence in reading and understanding food labels to make informed choices. How many of us know how to read the nutrition fact label? Sometimes parents are a little hesitant because they don't know how to read it. So we also teach that. Physical activity. What are some reasons for not being physically active? Busy, tired.
Yeah.
What else? Huh? Yeah, so those are some reasons. We explore the benefits of movement. So we do know that we are supposed to get 60 minutes, right? Not a day, a week, a month. Every day. Prioritizing play and enjoyment for you and your family. It doesn't always have to be going to the gym or running or walking, even though those are good resources, but you can have playtime. You know, even if you chasing your grandkids or your kids around the house, you get that heart rate up. Well, I mean, whatever floats your boat. Practice tips for adding more movement to your day. So what are other ways you can move? Say it again. Stairs. Dance.
I moved my flatware away from my sink, so I have to do this. I made a decision because it was real easy to grab it, and that was moving more in my kitchen space.
Mm-hmm.
And then teach me about placing things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It could be riding a bike, swimming, brisk walk, jogging in place, doing seated yoga. So you gain nutrition label knowledge, shopping on a budget, healthy cooking methods, food safety information, how to include children doing meal prep. I know that's a big one. Get out my kitchen. I know. But you also want to make sure that you include your kids, grandkids, because they're more likely to eat the food that they cook. So if you cook in vegetables that they normally don't eat, of course they're gonna say, ew, I don't want it. It's nasty when they never tried it. But if they help you cook, they're more likely to eat the food.
We're missing.
So I don't know what happened to the slides, but for the team curriculums, we have team cuisine. We also have around the table for teams. And then for the youth, we have Illinois Junior Chef and we have healthy eating. But when you join us, the participants, upon completing one of our nutrition workshops, it's usually a 6 series. They get a certificate of completion. This is for adults. They get a certificate of completion, which they can put on their resume if they are looking for a job, because some jobs require nutrition education hours. We cover that. They get a cookbook, which I believe you guys have in before. They get a cookbook, they get a kitchen incentive, something. It can be a sponge, it can be tongs, it can be anything that they can use in the kitchen from us. And then they get a calendar. Unfortunately, we ran out of calendars, so I'm sorry. They also have recipes in them as well. But all adults, teens, and youth will get the certificate, a cookbook, and incentive. And then also my contact information is in the folder. Did you guys have any questions? By the way, I know you guys probably have like that question. It is free. Everything is free. So again, like I said, it is free. We bring the food, we bring the kitchen equipment, we bring the materials that we're teaching, we bring everything to you guys. You do not have to come to us. So if you are in the school and you want to do the classes there, we will come there. Yep, wherever we're accepted. So we do YMCA, churches. We also partner with Chicago Park District and WIC. We do summer programs with them. So, yes.
One from your, I think the same program, that was from UIC, and they came out with like classes. Classes first. Did that still?
You said moving class?
She came like week for like 6 weeks. Yeah. That's part of your. Okay.
So it also depends on how you want the schedule. You can do it every day for 5 days for a week straight. You can do it every other week. You can do it twice a week. You can do it twice a month, once a month, whatever fits your schedule and is perfect for your participants as well.
And it's free.
Yes, free. Yes, nothing. So, any other questions? Yes. No. So if you wanted to be 6 weeks straight and you want to do it once a week, you do that. And it doesn't have to stop at one session or like one class. We can do it multiple times. We just ask that we get new participants. So old participants are welcome. Just tell them to bring a friend. The most that we normally do is 15, 20. And that goes for youth, teens, and adults. So you and a community worker will schedule that. We will schedule the dates and the times. Any other questions? Yes. Yes. Yes, they are. Any other questions? Yes. We're working. Slowly, but surely. Sorry. Any other questions? Thank you guys.
I believe so.
As well, we have folders, so if you are in schools, not folders, posters. If you are in school and you want to, offer this, promote and everything, you're more than welcome to take any posters. I have English and Spanish.
Thank you so much. So we'll put those posters in the back of the room. I didn't put it on the slide, but I want to do a quick temperature check. How many of you came to our pre-service event? Yay. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Sarika, for being there. I had a great time. Did you have a good time when you were with us? We just want to thank you for joining us for our pre-service event. If you filled out a survey, I have read over 1,200 responses to surveys, and I'm reading every last one because we take your feedback seriously. How many were there for all 3 days? Thank you for joining us. Fantastic. Across all 3 days, we had roughly 1,206 people with us for all 3 days. It's fantastic. And we were on the mic for all 3 days. It was fantastic. No, I love to talk.
In my other life. No, I just wanted to take a moment. Can all of you please give Sheree and all of the team at BSSS, Board Communication, for a successful pre-service. It was great. Heard nothing but good things about the Palmer House. Heard good things about the food. I know I ate well. Yeah, yeah. Lots and lots of options for sessions, and the space worked this year. So thank you.
I love accolades. Want to thank my mama. But yes, thank you. We're already planning for next year. It was just that good that we were like, okay, we got to jump on top of it. Was it 100% perfect? No, there were some hiccups here and there. But I sincerely echoing our deputy, applaud our internal team at Children's Services Division, DFSS. You guys are rock stars. I say it all the time, and I don't think y'all believe me. I really do appreciate the team. Everyone rolled up their sleeves, very accommodating. It was a phenomenal event. And again, we thank you guys for being in attendance. Anyone who was a vendor, a presenter, we thank you for joining us. Are you stretching or you got something to say? What's up? Yes, we've already taken that into consideration. There was a lot going on in terms of when we can do it. We were doing our due diligence not to plan it at the same time CPS starts. Just putting it out there, we are planning for the first week of August. Okay. That is to be determined based off of all types of things, but that is our goal. So you're not the only one who felt that way. Others put that in comments. Others talked about in certain rooms, there were beams that were in the way, and some things we just couldn't control. Some folks talked about lighting, the exhibit hall, it's all types of things, but I promise you that every last comment, Catherine, wave your hand, because she has been my partner in crime in this planning process. She's phenomenal, y'all. I have a fantastic team. So we read every last comment and we will take it into consideration, and please stay tuned because pre-service 2026 will be here soon. 360 something days come quick, that. So I just wanted to lift that because I forgot to put it on the slide. I also want to make mention, how many of you knew that we have new supervisors on our team here at DFSS? Did you know that? It was announced at the conference. Yes, you were there, front and center. We do have new supervisors. If our new supes are in the room, can you just stand? I'm not gonna make you come to the front. We have 3 new supervisors, guys. We have Janicia Jenkins, who's in the green. She is our supervisor of quality. We have Kirsten Smith, who is also wearing green. Why y'all didn't tell me? With the black sweater. She is operations, as well as Camille Franklin. She is also operations. So we will be reaching out to you. You may have already seen them. You may have already seen them on emails, but we wanted to introduce you to our 3 newest supervisors. Thank you, guys. Can you give them a round of applause? They still here with us, y'all. We work hard and they smile, and I'm so proud. I mean, and look, she said, and y'all came back. So we are thankful, right? We also have another supervisor. I don't know why she didn't stand up. I said all new supervisors. Can the last remaining supervisor please stand? Jonathan McMahon has been promoted. And though she's gonna cry. So Rachel was crying real tears of both joy and sadness because her right hand, her right, left, and her feet has been promoted, rightfully so. We are proud of Jocelyn. She is now our supervisor of data, right? So it makes sense because she's always on top of data. So for her to get this role, we're very proud of her. So I just want to clap it up for Jocelyn. She's still front and center up here with Sareka for all of us. Because, if I need someone like JB, and she's always there. So I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate our new promotions and new hires on our leadership team. On your screen here, again, my name is Sheree Johnson. I'm the manager of program operations and quality. Y'all should know that by now. I mean, somebody, maybe some new faces in the room. I was also the MC for the pre-service event, and thankfully, I hope so. I'll be the MC next year because I love it. me, I like it a lot. Okay, so what you see on the screen is, this will be our standing slide for every meeting until we get this off the ground. Those of you who supported us with new arrivals a year or two or more ago, New Arrivals has been disbanded. We no longer have a New Arrivals mission, but we do have a One System initiative which supports all homeless families in shelter in the city of Chicago, no matter where they're from. If they're in a shelter, we are here to provide support. What's on this screen, steps 1 through 5, is our support process for recruitment and enrollment for families in shelter coming in September. Yes, this is September. I'm meeting with the team next week. A team of us at DFSS will be meeting with the team next week to forge forward with our path of supporting families in shelter. It seems like it would be simple, like we did it before. Well, the whole system changed. So we can talk all day about how it went from New Arrivals to the One System initiative. Things are different now. What we do know is that there are 23 family shelters with over 1,023, I should know these things. 1,023 children were in shelter as of second quarter of 2025. We anticipate it might be more. But with that being said, I will be tapping into many of you because we've identified you to be in close proximity to these shelters within a 1 to 2 mile radius because they have children who are in need of care and support. And I know many of your programs have vacancies. This is not our answer to filling vacancies because we know families can move, but we are here as holistic support, as we know. So I will be reaching out to all of you. Any questions? Great. Sure.
And as a reminder, with everything going on, people who are in town doing things, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, you never know who's listening. Anyway, just a reminder, make sure you have up-to-date contact for all of your families, meaning we don't know, you don't know, none of us know. If a parent for any reason is picked up and that child is not picked up as usual, as you're expecting, you need to have updated information from that mom or dad, grandma, or whoever enrolled that child, so you know who to contact so that that child can go to that family member. Because if not, then they end up in the system, and we want to do everything we can to prevent that. So if you have not updated, please, right now, make sure, and I'm not just saying any one family, I'm saying every family, make sure you have an updated a child pickup list for all of your families that are enrolled in your programs. Don't hesitate on that. Make sure they're done. If they were not done last week, have them done starting today. Thank you.
Okay, so Rachel spoke to us already about background checks. I put a lot of the information on 2 slides for you. So I'm going to do a quick recap. We have CSD updates that many of you, if not all of you, should be receiving regarding background check clearances, as well as all types of other updates that we provide to you. The background check process is not new. I just want to reiterate that. It may seem like it's a little new, like, well, what's going on? Why y'all waited so long to tell us? And no, it's not new. We have a team of support service coordinators who are responsible for working alongside you to help support with reviewing background checks, as well as staff, credentials, and et cetera. But this is language that comes straight from our CSD updates. It has been running in our CSD updates for many years, but we have intentional CSD updates that go out regarding background checks, especially when we are approaching time for folks to get rechecked. And as Rachel mentioned, we are approaching 5 years, which means that you're going to be seeing a lot more of this. Going to be hearing a lot more from our teams regarding it. There are 2 separate processes depending on if you're funded by ECBG, which is a CPS background check, or if you're funded federally. So this one is in reference to all of it, but it's saying that you must have the background checks. The forms have not changed. Sometimes staff will duplicate background checks even if they have already been fingerprinted by DCFS in order to meet the requirements for each funder. If you need assistance, let us know. B is our main internal point of contact for it. And she's like, man, why is it me? She covering her face right now, but that's because you're knowledgeable. You're our subject matter expert, and we're here in support of you. Of course, I'm saying that because we're a team. But yes, okay, so just a reminder. So when we send out the slides, this information is in there for you. Next slide, please. And so here's a reminder for you guys. from your agency lens, okay? So just again, driving it home. So yes, there are a lot of questions about, well, whose responsibility is it? And how am I supposed to know if it goes directly to the staff? Like, so you should have an internal system, right? Whoever is designated to be your manager of background checks, fingerprinting, clearances, you may have this person labeled as an HR manager. You may be that person. Whomever that person is, you have an onus of responsibility to ensure that you have your children in site safe and that you have your other staff safe. You know, you don't want folks in your centers who may not be up to par with their clearances, right? So this is just a quick list of your responsibility as an agency level. Individuals being sent for fingerprints fall into the following categories. So you have potential staff who may not have been hired or was never hired at your agency. You may have some volunteers, classroom subs, consultants, not directly employed by the agency, but you need to ensure that those folks have clearance. Current staff, again, who are employed at your agency and who would appear on the agency's budget. So again, driving it home, we've been receiving a lot of, responses from you guys saying, oh, well, Sheree Johnson, she's not on that budget. Well, she had to have been on that budget for us to get Sheree Johnson's name because it's coming up on the CPS side when we get the notification. So our team has been doing this process. This is not a new process. What we have been doing as of lately in preparation for CPS monitoring is intentionally targeting and reiterating to agencies who we've already notified that there may have been something going on with backgrounds. We're being very intentional not to say specifics because it could be an error. I don't know. But if I walk into the room right now, right, and someone said like Sheree failed her background check, you won't forget that even if I said I cleared it, right? Like she cleared it, but no, she failed it, y'all. I know. We don't need that type of bias in this work, okay? So this is just reiterating what has already been stated. At the bottom of this slide, in bold, the very last bullet, agencies are responsible for working with your staff to ensure they provide their CPS clearance. The email notification contains a CPS logo and states the person is cleared and is sent to the staff. It is not sent to you. So a lot of you have been sending us the one that has the agency address on it. That's the regular DCFS one. We're talking about the CPS clearance. This is specific for ECBG that went directly to the staff. I'm just driving it home once again. At the bottom of the slide in blue is the contact information for CPS. A lot of you have been saying like, well, for instance, using Meg as an example, hey, Meg, using you as an example, like, well, what if, who keeps an email from 5 years ago? That's a very valid point, right? That someone received notification 5 years ago that something was going on with their background. Can they still submit what's needed? Do they need a new one? We don't work for CPS, but you're welcome to contact them. That's why I put this information on the slide. Make sense? Go ahead, Meg. Yep, they can. There's also a TCN lookup. Very good. Thanks for lifting that, Meg. There is also a TCN lookup, meaning that if they have their TCN number and their date of birth, they can look up their, findings or results themselves. But again, if they don't have that information, if they need some support, if they should do a new one, is it too late? Can I just fill in the blank? Can I just put NA? Can I just put a period behind whatever's missing? There's the phone number. There's the email address. Okay. When in doubt, you're welcome to reach out to our team here at DFS. Yes. The link for, oh, it's not working. Sorry, that's not a DFSS thing, sorry. But we'll make note of it. We'll see what we can do to help nudge that along. Yeah. So if it's an old TCN, it may not work, but for the more recent TCNs, it should work. But again, when in doubt, just reach out to CPS and they can further assist. And then we also have our internal supports here at DFSS if there are any lingering questions or issues. Any questions before I turn over the mic? Oh, that's right.
So I heard you all. That's why I didn't put no PowerPoint slide up there. But in a minute, I'm gonna turn it over to my PC, Miss Carter, who's gonna go over some reminders for attendance and enrollment. But my mind said, in my mind, that my team always asks me about what is the expectation come every new school year. My mind said, gotcha. So everybody has a letter, or envelope, I should say, at the back of the room. My fiscal team and my admin team are gonna have you sign it out as you leave. But just in case, let me have it for record so you know some of the things the letter says. Program admin. These are the things that we are going to monitor, that we have been monitoring, but we're going to monitor even more closely this year to afford everybody the availability not to get a cap. We're going to monitor your previous infractions from PIR. So if you turn in a PIR 23-24, you were fully enrolled, you had all your staff, they had all the credentials, and then this year, you checked the box that said there was no change, and then my data team entered. We have 2 new teachers and 2 vacancies, and that report came back to me because of course now that's an error. You got an infraction. It's okay. I'll see now doing caps. We're gonna see you by the end of October, just so this don't happen again. Because anytime I get an infraction from my super, we all gonna get that infraction. That's what we know. And enrollment. Enrollment is at 97%. That is a requirement for us. That is a requirement for you. But guess what? Oh yeah. Deputy Fish said 100% for you. But help me out with my son. We're gonna be checking enrollment every month. However, every quarter, if you don't make that 97%, I'm gonna see you the next month for housing. So we can cap that out. Enrollment. Staff qualification. That was a big thing that we're gonna get dinged for. It's all right. I'm gonna help you. We're gonna see you in 2 months with that cabin. Utilization percentages. I had calls with everybody that was underutilization. So if you didn't spend that money, 90% or more, I'm getting you out. Because we can't leave money on the table. Oh, give me an excuse. Come on. For utilization?
But everything, like, I can't, like, so you said, spend your money. Okay, I can't spend what I don't have, and when you don't return it, so when the comptroller doesn't pay me after I submit a voucher, then I can't spend what I don't have.
So upon taking this grant, you
And
have
I did, and guess what, 6 months in advance, and we spent it, and then it doesn't come back, and then what are we supposed to do?
and so you
And we talk to Trump, we didn't talk to everybody. We didn't talk to everybody. I didn't talk to everybody. I talked to them. You didn't talk to me.
1 second.
Okay.
What budget are you talking about? Which budget are you referencing? Yes.
And this year I got paid 3 times because the budget wasn't approved. So I have to wait and use my own line of credit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't have nothing left. So seriously, this is not a game, it's not a joke. So talk to me. I'm talking to Sister Rachel now. She has.
Well, you're talking to both of us because she has a responsibility for it in her unit. But let me say this. There have been times when there have been people who communicated with me, for example, because their invoices were in, had not been paid, and we asked for them to be expedited. So We do everything that we can to push it through. But let me say two things to everybody. This particular year, this year, there were multiple issues with getting everything set up. Right now, we're monitoring every document that comes through my email. Matter of fact, they want to shut my email down because of the number of emails I'm getting. And I'm saying, no, I need to know everything that's happening, when your budgets are going through, when they're getting approved, when you're getting the email that says you can invoice. City of Chicago did some changes in setting up budgets, and they did not set up everybody's budget for this year. That's completely out of DFSS control. We had to go all the way to the mayor's office and make sure that they understood what that meant for you on the other side as an organization, meaning that we're asking you to push through budgets, but yet when you invoice, you can't get your invoices through. So many budgets were approved. Basically, when I say approved, meaning DFSS had done all their due diligence. They had not been moved forward to OBM because OBM, Office of Budget and Management, would not receive them because everything wasn't stood up in the system. Again, that's outside of DFSS. And so on the backside, we've done everything that we can to get everything done and approved. And what I've always said to everybody, if you know you're gonna get an email, that email is gonna say you can invoice. If you got 12 invoices ready, push all 12 through. Nobody ever says you can only push through 1 or 2. If there are some specific issues that anybody is having with their budgets, with their invoicing, I need you to reach out and let us know what that issue is so we can support you through the process. Because we will walk it all the way to Office of Budget and Management downtown, because we recognize that you are trying to do everything you can to keep your businesses going and you're spending money out of pocket. And I recognize that is an issue, and that's why we're fighting for you. But we are not the one, and I just want to say that when my team's trying to do everything that they can to get everything in, because on the backside of everything, I will tell you that we have to document all your enrollment, attendance, and everything to make sure that we can document that you effectively should be paid. And so they're doing their job and they're doing their due diligence to make sure that there's not going to be a stopgap, meaning we don't have documentation to prove that these children are enrolled. All of those things they link together in the system of payment. And that's one of the things, like I said earlier, that's why CPS is looking at it the way they are. Because as far as they're concerned, all of it has to be dots, I's dotted and T's crossed, because they have the ability to say $0. And that's what we don't want to have happen. And that's getting to that. And so when it's, if it doesn't come through, let me say this, and what Angel was saying, and I know sometimes we're sending emails because we've got a fiscal contact, but if there's something about something that's not going through, you need to also add Children's Services Division staff so that we can then say, I know that this email went up there, where is it, what are you doing? Okay, if it bypasses us, we don't know, right? I don't go in iSupplier and see who's paid. I don't see that. That's not something that I'm doing on my side. But we do have fiscal that does that. And so I won't know that you're not paid unless you tell me that you're not paid. I won't know that you have invoices stuck unless you tell me that. And then Angel's gonna work with the team at DFSS to do everything that we can. And then I am, like I tell them, leave my name out until I have to scream. Because if you start with me, then they're going to say, well, Soretho already was in the process. I want to be the person who can walk down on the LaSalle Street and say, wait a minute, here's documentation, push it through, okay? But I need you all to use the team. That's what they're here for, is to support you. Angel is my manager. I got two of them, on one side and Angel on the other. Angel Jones-Dotson is the manager who's doing all the fiscal and data for the division. And so you got to start with her. She's got her top individual she's working with in the fiscal team at DFSS, who they're connected at the hip when there's an issue, then it comes by my box and then I push it to the individuals that I need to speak to. Any questions about that? I don't want anybody out there not getting paid. Like I tell people, and I was like, listen, I was on the other side. Since I was running the program and I had to go home to my husband. He smiled real cute, but I need to make payroll. And he looked at me and I said, sweetie, I need to make payroll. He said, well, who are you paying? I said, my staff. And he looked at me. I said, it's about the babies. And he said, very slowly, here's the checkbook. You want to tell me how much? Mm-mm. Because if I tell you how much, you're gonna want to question it. I need to make payroll while I'm waiting on my invoice. I was funded the same way as you. So I know what it feels like and I know what you go through and I do everything I can to protect you. That's our job at Children's Services Division. That's what I challenge my staff to do is be the mediator and make this work for you. That's what we do. Okay, and that's what we're gonna always do, is stand in the middle and push and do everything we can to make sure it happens. When I was told that the budget wasn't stood up, I lost my brain. How dare you tell me that I'm pushing contracts out and the budget on the other side ain't stood up? Because what that means is they can't get paid. Does everybody understand what that means when they can't get paid? So I did ask somebody at Office of Budget and Management. I said, did you get paid on the 1st and the 16th? Because I did. And it got real quiet. I said, I got paid on the 1st and the 16th. There's been 2 1st and 16th. There's been another 1st and 16th and another 1st and 16th. And you got paid every one of those, as did I. My agencies did not. They had to go to the mayor's office. They got it signed out. They stood up the budget and everybody can now get paid. And I will do whatever I can to fight for it, okay? But don't let invoices sit out there and not be paid and you don't let me know. Because if I can't act on something that I don't know. Some people will automatically say, can you ask for these to be expedited because they've done it before? Let us know and we'll do everything we can and get you paid, okay?
So, if this fiscal year, just so you know, at DFSS, there's me on the program side, there's fiscal, and then there's finance. We have meetings, but I don't hear about vouchers. I don't see vouchers. I don't approve vouchers. If you have an issue, let me know. If you don't know what a rejection code is, let me know. If you want to review a voucher, because I have 3 agencies that are doing that right now, before they send it so they don't get rejected, let me know. I have time for that. That is my job. CPPC representation. So this was one where anybody who is federally funded, if you have HS, EHS, EHS CCP, EHS expansion, a peer from all 4 of those funding streams should be at our CPPC meeting representing your agency. I had so much fun yesterday with Ada S. Inviting. This year, we're doing a mini audit. It's in here for the month of December and the month of May. We will be scheduling an on-site visit to see those months' vouchers and supporting documentation. Because we know that when you upload your voucher, you're not always able to upload all the supporting documentation. Why? For space reasons with our supplier. Don't worry about it. We're gonna come out and do 2 mini voucher, 2 voucher series, and it'll be for the months of December and the months of May. So don't worry about it. It'll be on here. Your annual report, which is actually your bragging rights about your agency. Let's do every year. It's in here as well. Self-assessment. That's due as well. Inventory is up under me. And then I have a note from professional development. If I can't read with the glasses on. So we have some issues with CARES. Everybody knows that. Professional development, what they normally do is, if you sign up for a training, they look in CARES to see if that employee is in the agency section of CARES for your agency. Because we have issues, if you have not put that employee in CSB CARES, have that employee's manager email, I want to say Peggy, but I'm saying Soto, to let them know that that employee works for you. And then that employee's title. But it's all here in the email as well. So this will be the first thing that you guys get in your envelope. The second thing, you guys have already been getting it, but it tells you, yeah, I picked on Ada because they have a lot of sites. It tells you your enrollment and your attendance for the previous month. That's something you always want to look at because that's what we're reporting. I got a question 2 days ago. An email was sent out and said, hey, you reported zero. They sent me an email back and said, okay, we went in there and fixed it. That's good for you, but my report was already due and sent in. So this is why I give it to you. So you know what I'm reporting. The deadline for attendance is Monday at noon.
Not the next day, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, yes, you would know. If you get two of them, just know one is for federal and one is for state. The next thing you'll have in your envelope is your utilization letter. You'll receive an email, but you'll also receive a letter to say what percentage you are. For my PFA and PI agencies, it's gonna say no contract has gone out until this week, and the rest of them will go out next week. For my state agencies who threw tomatoes and tomatoes and my excess last year, told you I was gonna have y'all this month. This is the congratulations. We want to celebrate our wins. Successes. Look. So in the email Mara sent out, they had policy council forms. So even though it's in your CSB updates, I actually gave you guys an extra copy of the forms. So you'll have two of those. Budget sent out a template on how to do a budget revision, because we recognize that you guys did that, you did that budget really quickly. And just in case you say, man, I need some more money, and that line item, give the instructions for that. PIR, the due dates and the instructions and what's expected for that. Here's the template for that. If this goes to your executive person, I did a cheat sheet for the person that actually does the intern. So it's a cheat sheet of the due dates here. Okay, this is out of order. Oh, yes. Okay. During pre-service, I did a training about budgets. End of the service, I said for enrollment, attendance, my PIR and something else, when I use the CSD Cares, I need you to fill out my Microsoft Excel sheets. Somebody asked about CCAP. That's under Frederick, not my department. But I have Frederick do a little insert so that you will know who to contact and what their expectations for CSD Cares. So all of this is in your slides, in your envelopes. And now we have.
We are trying to be respectful of time. We are at 12 o'clock, right? We're at 12:03. Right? So we had two additional presentations we do not have time for today, but we promise you we will circle back to the two that we had. We just go to the fiscal report. Okay. Oh, okay, great. So here's our current utilization. We were just talking about utilization. This is where we should be for our federal grants. As you can see, we're at 54% for Head Start, 48% for EHS, 36% for CCP, 45% for expansion. We need to get these funds spent because as we know, these grants end when? November, y'all tired, I know. November 30th is when these grants end, so we need to get these dollars spent down. Next slide. We should be at 75% for the federal. Here we have our state. So for ECBG, we're at 0.68%. State funded expenditure should be at least 16%. CCAP funding is still going through approval process, so that is to be determined. So this information will be shared with you once again. Invoices through 8/31 should be submitted at this time, so make sure you get your invoices in. All applicable income reports are due on the 10th of every month. Budget revision deadline is October 15th. When is the budget revision deadline? Okay, very good. Budget period from 12/1 to 11/30/2026. Federal grant application packages were submitted. They were due on September 1. We got them submitted on August the 29th, you know, because we're high achievers. So those grant applications have been submitted, and we are awaiting additional information from our federal funder. All funded agencies are required to report non-federal match. OHS is to provide application feedback within 6 to 8 weeks. Please watch for correspondences from us, because if anything additional is needed, if anything comes back from OHS, of course, we'll communicate that slide. For childcare, award letters are going through the internal approval process, and we anticipate that they will be distributed by the end of this month. If you have any questions, contact your contract liaison. There's an email address there. We appreciate your patience. For PFAPI, initial budgets and COLA worksheets are being reviewed. All remaining budgets are to be processed by the end of the month. Again, contact your contract liaison if you have questions. There's an email address for the contracts unit. We thank you for your patience. And then we have at the upper right corner, your fiscal contacts, Laverne, Teresa, Selena, Cassandra. They are your respective contacts for federal, RTL, Head Start, EHS, Child Care, PFAPI. There's a training for iSupplier on October the 21st at 2 p.m. There's a link there. Insurance, ensure that your insurance is up to date. Keep your iSupplier contacts up to date as well. For your contract requirements, invoices should be submitted at minimum monthly. So please don't wait quarterly. Submit your invoices. This platform is there for you to submit as often as you need, but at minimum, once a month. Additional training supplies, training materials, and all of that is available via that at the bottom. Reminder of 2 upcoming trainings that we have from Claridyne. Claridyne is going to speak to us today, and we always appreciate Claridyne because they're a fantastic vendor of ours. We have the best program design and management trainings that are coming up. We also have budget management, award, and utilization coming up on September the 30th. We'll share this out on the CSD update. Any questions before we adjourn? Let's do it real quick. Anything else that we have questions on? Go ahead. Sure.
Y'all know there's logistic cases, but what is the expectation? Should we be attending here for this whole and then that issue?
Craig, the response right now, 2 things. Anybody who is funded through CCAP still needs to be using CARES because that's where they're doing eligibility. If you're funded, need to see you before you go. That was so rude. I'm sorry. Can I see you before you go? Multiple things in my head. I'm sorry. If you are CCAP funded, you still need to be using CARES because they're using it for eligibility. So please continue to do that. I know I had an alert go out to make sure everybody understood. Still use CARES if you're CCAP funded. As far as CARES for enrollment, attendance, we are not able to work with our vendor right now, have not been in contact or able to speak with our vendor now since April. We need to move forward and make sure that we still have all of the data and information that we need from all your programs. And so the team has been making sure that they can collect all of your data and information on Excel spreadsheets. I am so sorry. I wish I could say something different today, but I cannot. But one of the things that we won't do is be without the data that we need, because then we're putting everything in jeopardy. So I do apologize. We are on Excel sheets for all of our information, federal and state, until further notice. And right now, I don't know if it will turn around. We're exploring and doing everything that we can and doing our due diligence, working with the mayor's office right now. But right now, we still have to have you access spreadsheets, you put your information in, and the teams are gathering the data and doing all reports from there. Don't waste, don't, right now, don't waste, okay. Don't waste your time putting in information in CARES. It will take too much for the staff to try to go in and figure out what's in there and what's not. Use the Excel spreadsheet so they have a consistent pattern of gathering data. That way they can aggregate and analyze data in one place. It's taken too much. They tried to do it last year. It was too difficult. So I'm asking that you use those spreadsheets that they're giving you access to. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Now to Zachary. Okay? To make sure that they have their methodology of getting what they need for reporting for the CCAP grant. No, I'm saying no because I'm looking at him. Please stand up, Craig. How does he want you to do this? Hold on one second.
So we used the term CARES for a broad variety of programs. You do need to keep using Schoolmint as the application. Schoolmint is our only systemic way right now of communicating back and forth with the CPS system that assigns CPS IDs. So if you have children in PFA or PI funding, they need to be in Schoolmint because that's how the information gets into the Aspen system. So that part is still live, but the reason that we're not using CSD Cares itself, the Salesforce platform for enrollment and attendance and so on, is that it is not communicating with Schoolmint. So when you put children in, they won't show up in our system. So that's where we are. But you still do need to use Schoolmint as separate from CSD Cares. Yeah. Yeah. Send them to me. I have people that I can talk to at CPS about expediting those cases.
I've heard that. If you are trying to get your applications out of school, then send those names to Craig Demke. He's got contact with CPS and you're working with him to expedite that. Because they know our systems are not talking to each other. Okay?
No other questions. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your pre-Friday. Take care of yourselves.